Hello and welcome to Chicks Chat Radio, and for those of you watching on YouTube at ChicksConnect. I'm your host, Tita Freytag, Chair Chick of the Spring Chicks in Springfield, Oregon, and your connection to health and wealth options that can change life. Today, I have the pleasure of introducing fellow ChicksConnect member, Chaplain Tamia Dow. Tamia Dow is an international award-winning best-selling author, filmmaker, and speaker. She is a certified coach, mentor, and mastermind facilitator, and an entrepreneur managing multiple streams of income. She travels the world, empowering women and vulnerable people to help them become free of violence and oppression. Welcome, Tamia. How are you?
Thank you. I'm so excited to be here. Thank you, Tita. Yes. So I am feeling really well, super excited, kind of jet lagged, but more from driving because I've been going back and forth from Las Vegas to LA. I live in Las Vegas and, I've been traveling back to LA, and I call it kind of jet lag because I don't know if you ever think about it. If anybody does any long distance traveling or driving, that's wears you out. I mean, driving wears you out,
Yes.
So and I've had to go back and forth in the last 2 weeks, like 4 times. So yeah, back and forth 4 times. So that's a lot of pushing 4 to 5 hours, and then dealing with traffic, because LA traffic is way different from Vegas traffic and probably from any traffic anywhere around the world. So yeah, so I'm just in what is it called? Recovering right now.
Yes. Oh boy, I can relate. Absolutely. I have my limit, 4 hours, and I've got to stop. Well, hey, so tell us a little something of the story behind what you're doing today and what challenges that you've faced along the way.
Well, I'm very excited to, number one, explain chaplain. So I'm an ordained minister, and I am technically still the chair chick of Chicks Who Love Jesus. It's just we've had no activity in there. So I'm going to invite everybody back to Chicks Who Love Jesus. We still exist. We are a chick chapter, and it's online. It's all online. So I'd love to invite everybody back to that. But right now, it's kind of funny when I think about Chicks Connect and what all Chicks has really done in my life. I was blessed to meet Julie through my friend Marsha Merrill, who actually at the time she was in Baltimore, and now she's in Vegas, so it's really cool that she came to Vegas to be a part of the Chicks here in Vegas, which actually the Chicks in Vegas are in a reorganization right now where we're rebuilding.
Nice.
Because at one time we had 4 communities. We had 4 chick groups, and then now we're in the rebuilding mode. But I'm really excited about that because there's, of course, lots of people to pull from. But the thing I love about Chicks was so inspiring for me. My background is law enforcement. So a lot of times I really didn't get involved with women's groups because of the fact that when it came to women's needs and my needs being fed as a police officer, I wasn't getting it from women's groups because women were more dealing with some day-to-day stuff, which of course me being a female officer was dealing with, but I dealt with it very similar to how the guys do, where you really don't deal with it, So Chicks was kind of a light at the end of the tunnel type of thing. It's like, oh, this is kind of cool, something fun to do. I rebelled against the term chick because a lot of times it was used with the men that I worked with. I also had military before I went into law enforcement. So chick was somewhat of a derogatory term. You'd say, that chick, and it was instead of saying a cuss word, So it took me a while to reframe the word chicks in my mind to be able to see it as a real asset, and to see it as, like when, Julie depicts us with the little chicks and the eggs, and they're all together and that kind of thing. I like that. It's a sense of community. It's a sense of being there for one another, helping each other through your mission or your journey, regardless of where you're at. We meet you where you're at, and we go from there. So that's just me giving a kind of a shout out to Chicks and all that Chicks has done and been in my life. It's also starting me to tell you what I'm doing now. So when I was in Chicks was when I was inspired not by Chicks, but like I said, when I was in Chicks amongst the group, I came up with the desire to make movies. And being that I'm prior law enforcement, my law enforcement experiences, I worked 23 years with the Las Vegas Metropolitan Police Department, and I retired as a domestic violence detective. So my specialty was dealing with domestic violence victims and victims of sex trafficking. Now, needless to say, when I retired, I have no issue telling my chicks, my age. I was dealing with age issues recently this year, but so I retired when I was 45, which was a big deal. To fully retire and have a pension at 45 is a big deal. Mostly only people that do it like that is like the military people. They get to retire in their 40s, So 45, fully retired from the police department with all kind of training in, I was a trainer myself within the police department. I had Dale Carnegie training, and I was also an instructor, had John Maxwell equipped training. I had all kind of this training, and I thought 45 years old, yes, I could retire into a life of leisure and just, drink my little Mai Tais by the beach, that kind of thing. I said, or I can ask the Lord what it is he really wants me to do with all that he's given me, right? Because that knowledge and those skills and that ability it's all a gift from God. Once you embrace it and get it and use it, you're not supposed to turn around and bury it. There's a parable called the parable of talents where people it talked about three different people, and the master in the parable is supposed to be like the Lord, and the Lord gave each one a talent, something. One got one talent, one got two, the other one got three, or however, whichever story you read, or it's either 1, 3, and 5. But however it was, the point of the story was the Lord gave everybody at least one talent. Sometimes he gave them multiples, but he also gave it according to their abilities. So the plan is, if you get one, you're expected to use that one at the very least. If you get two, you're expected to use those two, but you're also expected to build on it. And if you get 5, you're really expected to build on it, because you're being given this huge responsibility. And with huge responsibility, there's great need to fulfill it, right? So with the parable, the one who got the one was, just think of the person who, and I'm just going to give it to you generically. Think of the person who says, oh no, I shouldn't write this book. I shouldn't become a public speaker. I shouldn't, because there's stuff in their head that's telling them, don't do it, don't do it, don't do it, right? And they believe that because it comes from when we were kids. When we were kids and we had these dreams of these amazing things that we wanted to do, and the voice inside our head said, sit down, nobody cares, nobody, and we believe the voice in our head, not realizing that if the Lord puts something in your heart, in your mind, in your spirit, that you want to do this, it's because he's going to help you do it if you just step out. Because you have to take that step. He cannot take it for you. He'll open doors. And this is just think about this visually. He'll open doors that you, in that funky mindset, will walk right past. Because you think that's not my door. And the Lord's like, I opened this door. just go through the door, Yeah. So as I'm talking, I really want to encourage our listeners and our viewers to start thinking about where you fit in that. Because this message is for you. Every time I do any kind of a speaking engagement, or I always pray and ask the Lord, what am I supposed to say? And then I just open my mouth, because half the time I don't know what I have an idea of what I want to say, but the Lord is speaking specifically to someone who's listening, about this issue of stepping out and doing what your dream is. So back to me sitting at the ChicksConnect meeting. Sitting at the ChicksConnect meeting, I have this opportunity to do a thing that's called the 48-hour film challenge. Now, bear in mind, the amount of film training I have had at this point, this is 2018, the amount of training I've had in film has been, I took a screenwriting class when I was at the University of Nevada, Las Vegas, okay? One screenwriting class when I was there, okay? Now, bear in mind, when I was in high school, I acted. I was in plays and acted and stuff like that. So I have acting skills. I already knew that. But this film challenge actually ended up challenging me to become the producer director, the team leader of the whole project. right? But what was so good about that was the challenges that I faced, and I love what you said about the challenges that you face in the part of that question, is that the challenges that I faced were something that was very unique and could have caused another person to say, forget it, I'm not going to finish this. And I think that it was a test. I believe it was a test. I believe I passed it, to see if I really had the chops, if I really, really wanted to become a filmmaker. And I'll tell you what happened, but I want you to remember the season that 2018 was in. 2018 was the season of #MeToo. #MeToo was when the whole Weinstein incident came out, when a lot of actresses came forward and talked about the casting couch situations. And what the casting couch situations were and are were directors saying that if you do this favor for me or that favor for me, then I might look at you for this role. And generally the favors requested were usually sexual, and inappropriate. And it was done mostly to women. I can't say that there weren't some males that may not have been harassed, by directors, but I can definitely tell you that people were coming forward that they were harassed. The female actresses were being harassed by the male directors. So this person that was on the Oscars or some type of award show, I know I'm going to find this eventually because this is a core part of what made me become a filmmaker. A actor got on the Oscar platform or whatever, and he said that this would not happen if there were more female directors. And when he said that, I was like, okay, Lord, I'm listening. I put it all together. I'm listening, right? So the opportunity for the 48-hour film festival or film project came available to me. The person who was leading the film project at the time specifically came up to me and suggested I become a team leader, because at the time I was just signing up to be an actress. And he said, I just see something in you. I think you need to go for being a team leader. Fast forward, I did. I went for it. Okay. Challenges. Got my team together. I thought this will be a piece of cake because remember, I come from military and police. And when you come on the scene as a police officer or as a military officer, you assess the scene and then you start making assignments and telling people what they need to do in order to get the project done or the mission fulfilled. Correct? So same thing as a director of a film.
That's perfect.
I was explaining that to my neighbor, one of my friends that's in the Navy yesterday, because he's an actor now, and I was encouraging him to become the producer of his own project. And I just kind of explained to him the elements of what we had gone through, because he also was, police and military. So I said, so this is what you got to look at. This is how you do it, right? So I put everything together, right? They give us the elements. I got my team together. We get together, we film. And at the last minute, our lead calls out. She didn't come. So I need a lead that fits a particular description, blah, blah, blah. So one of the cast members calls her daughter. Her daughter fits the description. Now, here's where a little bump came in the road. Was prior to everyone coming, I said, I need you guys from 8 p.m. to 1 a.m. And I need you to come fed and ready to work. Okay, so not saying, hey, I need to run to McDonald's or I got to this, or I need you on set, ready to go. Okay, so everybody was like, yes, 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 except for the last minute person. So the last minute person had no idea they had to be there from 8 to 1. They had no idea that they were not going to be let away. We had food on, there, but it was just snacks, let to go away to go eat. Fast forward, long story short, she just walked off set. She just left. So when she left, that meant all of that, those scenes that we filmed and everything we couldn't use them. We could not use them. So I'm taking a deep breath, I'm like, praying. I'm like trying to figure out what am I supposed to do, So I thank my team for being there and everything. I try to not let them realize what just happened when this woman walked off set, because they didn't realize they were all in separate places. And I told them, thank you for coming, blah, 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 send them on their way. Okay. Now I still need to have a finished project. And so 48 hours, just to let you know what 40-hour means. They give you all of the assignment on Friday, and then you have to turn in the completed assignment, a 4 to 6 minute film on Sunday, completed, edited, everything completed. I just lost my entire or my lead, which took my story. Okay. So I'm praying. The next day I'm praying. I'm still calling her. I'm texting her. I'm like, hey, is there any way we can talk? Da, da, da. Refuses to take my call or talk to me because she wasn't a professional actress. She was just somebody's daughter. You know what I mean? So anyways, fast forward. The Lord gives me, now this is Saturday afternoon. I'm 24 hours out, basically. It's 5:00. And I'm praying, I'm going, Lord, these 13 people believed in me. You know, they're expecting me to turn in a finished product. You know, I'm expecting me to turn in a finished product. I got nothing I can use because she was in almost every scene, right? Mm-hmm. So he told me, call the girl who hosted us. So we did the scene at a beauty salon. He said, call the girl and make sure she's still there, because he already knew. You know, the Lord knows already, right? But he prompts you to call her, see if the facility is still available, call everyone on your team and see who can come back tonight. Okay. So I get on the phone, call it, I get 5 people back. Okay. Because bear in mind, I only asked them for one day. So, you know, so I'm not mad at them because they couldn't come back. And plus, I'm not telling them why they're coming back. You know, they're thinking they completed a film, right? She comes. The Lord gives me an amazing story that we use from some footage we used the night before that the other girl wasn't in, right? Mm-hmm. We ended up turning the story into a story about a homeless female veteran who basically was mentally ill. And the film was called Turn Back Time. And our theme was supposed to be time travel. So what we actually did was have the homeless person walk into the into the hair salon, and she was acting like she was before she was crazy, right? So she walked in and she was all like she was in there for her hair appointment, and everybody's looking at her because in her mind she still looked like this healthy whole person, but to everybody else she was like the crazy cat lady. I mean, she was like So long story short, we film it. She goes into the bath. They let her go into the bathroom. Finally, she goes to the bathroom. When she comes out, she looks totally different, right? So she was praying, saying, Lord, please turn back time, because she realized her mind was not all there, right? And when she comes out the bathroom, time has now been turned around. You know, everybody in the salon is welcoming her and knows her by name and all this kind of stuff. Whereas the first time when she came through, she was crazy. And they was like, you need to go before we call the police, you know? Well, so that's my first film that I made. And I ended up winning an award for it, for social awareness, because I made the point at the homeless person, the mental illness and all that kind of stuff. So after I won that social awareness award, the rest was history. We are now 11 completed short films down the line. I've completed 11 films on domestic violence, sex trafficking, minor stalking of minors online, internet cyber stalking. I'm trying to think, just so many things, so many topics since then, because I like to do dramatic shorts and I do them in an educational format. So it's not a documentary, although I am currently working on some documentaries. I just like the dramatic short form because it kind of reminded me of, I don't know if you remember this, the after school specials. Do you remember after school specials?
Okay. Yes, I do.
Yes. So we would watch our after school specials with eagerness. I remember Scott Baio was in a few of them, and we got a story. It was a story, and of course the audience is everyone. The after school specials was pretty much for the teens, but the audience is everyone, with the same thing where you see something happen and then you get a lesson at the end on how how to help someone who might be in that situation, and how for that person that's in that situation not to make it happen or to get out of it, right? So those are all the lessons that I usually have instilled in my films. And since that first award that I won, I have won subsequently 20 awards for my different films.
Congratulations. That's so exciting. I love the underlying message here. And that is just take the step through the door that's there. And things will follow. You said in the very beginning, if you have a dream and a desire within you, it doesn't come there out of nowhere. It's there for a reason, and you have everything that you need to make those dreams a reality if you just do it.
Yes. You have to trust in in what you have a desire for, and you have to believe that you can do it.
Yeah.
And then you have to realize that everything you need is along the way.
Yeah.
And you just really have to step out. Sometimes you need to speak out, let people know what your need is. Because I've had so many people, and I've been remiss in it, or I won't say I've been remiss in it because not everybody's on Facebook or social media, so I may post a need or something on social media, and I'm wondering why I'm not getting a particular response, only to actually talk to someone, or through text or through word of mouth from somebody else. Someone will say, why didn't you get a hold of me? I have a da-da-da-da. Like, no, I didn't know that. If I did, I wouldn't have posted on Facebook saying I was looking for this, or this, So yeah, so it's kind of in a way, like it is in a way that you must be persistent. You must be vocal about what you're doing. It's almost like the saying that they say a closed mouth doesn't get fed. So if you never say you have a need or a hunger or something, then people don't know. They sit there and think, oh, that person must be content. They're not saying anything,
Yeah. That's so true.
Yeah, so it's important that we vocalize what we need and ask, not be afraid to ask for help. And that's a lot of times what happens is people are afraid to ask for help. And that is kind of a theme in a lot of my films, is that, there is help and there's hope out there. You just need to step up. And a lot of times what happens in these violent situations that I describe, that because I speak all around the world, about the domestic violence and violence against women issues. And a lot of times what happens is the person feels like no one cares, and they've already been beat down so bad by their abuser that they've been told that they're, nobody cares about you. You're worthless, So the whole thing is to really get the message to that person, and also to the people who love them, that you are not worthless, that love is not abuse, that you should not be being beaten, and then the person turns around, oh, honey, I'm sorry I did it. Just forgive me. Okay, go ahead and cook dinner. It's sometimes that becomes people's normal, because they don't know that there is better, and there's a better way that they can be treated. And also that not only the victim of abuse, but the abuser needs help. They need counseling. They need mental health assistance, because it is not instilled in us to be violent towards one another. So if you have an abuser who is an oppressor and a power person and that kind of thing, they need counseling. They don't need just to go to jail. Because remember that I arrested many. That was part of my job, But the issue with that was I would always be a big advocate for, can we get them something a little bit more than this anger management training? Because what they would do is give them anger management training, which would tick them off. Okay. Yeah. You're forcing me to go for 12 weeks, once a week, to this anger management training. And it's always the victim that's forcing them. Okay. Yeah. So in their mind, they're like, I'm blaming, it's her or it's him. And when I get out of this training, the first thing I'm going to do is let them know how I didn't appreciate why I had to go through this. So the anger management training is not the same as counseling and healing. What I'm saying? Mental health, find the root of it, work through it, help this person forgive the person that hurt them, because in life, hurt people turn around and hurt people. Mm-hmm. So if we don't get those hurt people healed, it's just going to continue to happen. So that has been a lot of why I make the movies that I make. The messages that I have in those films, like behind me, there's an award on this side. I always get turned around that says New Voice. It says New Voice. And at that film festival, they realized I was presenting a new voice to the domestic violence issue, because people are, oh, another domestic violence film, really another domestic violence? No, I'm going deep, because I want people to be healed. Right. I want them to take away a lesson. I want their family members that may have been hurt by them also to take away a message, so educational, empowerment, and justice are my core values. Education, empowerment, and justice. And I put it in every single one of my films, every single one of my speaking engagements, any opportunity someone lets me on their program. I share that, because I really want people to hear that they are worth it. Mm-hmm. And yes. Love is not abuse, and you don't have to put up with it.
That's wonderful. I love that. Thanks for sharing that. I know that a lot of people are going to appreciate your message, and congratulations on all the success that you've had from going through that door that was there for you and listening to that small, still voice. And tell us how we can get in touch with you. If anyone wants to connect with you, I want to be sure that they have all the different ways to do that.
Excellent. Yes. And most definitely, I encourage you to connect with me. I'm always looking for people to come on. I bring on interns. I bring on just PAs that want to volunteer. I bring people on because I want you, if that's a spark in your heart, even if it's not, even if you're just a person who wants to help out making awareness for social issues, come and be a part of my team. So I'd encourage you to go to on Facebook, 888 Spirit Productions, 888 Spirit Productions on Facebook. That is my project page. That is the page that will tell you all that is going on with us. Because, for example, I'm in the Nevada Women's Film Festival this Sunday. And then on Monday, I am in Curacao, which is an island off of Miami, and I will be speaking in with 5 of my films featured, and I will speak into the violence against women issue in Curacao. So I have a lot of opportunities coming up for anyone to participate, volunteer with me, help with filming. I have upcoming film projects and things such as that. But I know our time is short here, so I encourage you to go to that Facebook page and stay tuned. Please like it. Also go to my YouTube, and it's Tamia Dow TV online on YouTube, Tamia Dow TV online. You'll be able to see the adventures of when I went to the Cannes Film Festival just last month. I was in the Cannes Film Festival, which is the most coveted place for a filmmaker to go. And I was blessed to be able to be there. You can also find me directly at Director Tamia Dow at gmail.com, Director Tamia Dow at gmail.com. And then also find me in the Chicks community. I'm a chick. So I'd love to connect.
I just want to thank you for being with us today. This has been a true pleasure just to get to know you a little bit. I see the things that you're doing, on Facebook and things. So it was great to connect.
Thank you. Yes, I agree. I was so excited for this opportunity. And because Julie kept telling me, did you get on Chick Chat yet? Did you get on the Chicks Chat yet? And I was like, yeah, I will. Yeah, I will. And then I saw the film. I think it was last week. I saw the newsletter and it told you how to do it. And I was like, okay, let's do this.
Wonderful. Well, I want to also thank you to the listeners for spending some time with us. This has been an episode of Chicks Chat Radio on podcast and YouTube at ChicksConnect. Be sure to check out ChicksConnect. It's a Mastermind Support Network. It's amazing. And you can learn more about it at bit.ly/meet your tribe. I'm your host, Tita Freytag, Chair Chick, and your connection to health and wealth options that can change life. Have a wonderful day.
Bye-bye. God bless.